One day, my mother kicked her disabled son into the street without warning. Within days, I lost my home, my car, my family, and even my own name. They called me a liar, but in the end it turned out I have been physically disabled since a car accident 3 years ago. I'm able to get around mostly on my own now, but I walk with a cane, can't stand for long periods, and have chronic pain. Before the accident, I was living on my own, working 2 jobs, hustling like anyone else. After the crash, I moved back into my mom's house because I had no choice. Hospital bills drained everything I had. At first, she seemed okay with it. She even told me, "You're my son, you'll always have a place here." I should have known better. Flash to Friday morning, I wake up to banging on my door. Not knocking, banging. I hobble over, open it, and there's my mom standing there, arms crossed, scowl so deep it could leave a scar. She says, and I quote, "Get your things together. You have until tonight to leave." I thought she was joking at first. I literally laughed, and she just stared at me dead serious and said, "I'm not running a charity for a grown man who can't even take care of himself." I asked her if we could at least talk about it, and she just shook her head and said, "You're not a child anymore. Figure it out." I'm done. No warning, discussion time to plan or place to go. Here's the kicker. When I asked why she was doing this so suddenly, she had the nerve to tell me it was for my own good, that I needed to be pushed into the real world and sink or swim. Mind you, I already was fighting just to stay afloat every day. I called my older sister, Danielle, freaking out, and she was just as stunned. Danielle said she'd try to reason with mom, so she came over. The minute Danielle stepped inside, my mom turned on the crocodile tears, talking about how she sacrificed everything for me and now I was using her as a crutch. Danielle kept her cool, God bless her, but when she suggested mom could at least give me a few weeks to figure something out, my mom snapped. She pointed at me and said, "No, he needs to fail. He needs to hit bottom. It's the only way he'll grow. I can barely walk without pain, and she wants me to fail harder for growth. It's like she thinks I'm some rebellious teenager and not a man trying his hardest just to survive." I started packing right then. Couldn't even finish because about an hour later, she started throwing my stuff into the front yard. No exaggeration. Shoes, clothes, boxes, some of it fragile, just tossed. My laptop bag got launched like a football. I heard a crack when it landed. Saturday morning, I woke up on my friend Tyler's couch. Thank God for him. I was planning to go back and grab the rest of my things, but when I texted mom, she said, "Your things are on the curb. Anything left tonight is going to Goodwill." When I pulled up, there were strangers picking through my stuff. Literal strangers loading up my clothes and books into their cars. And when I called my mom, absolutely freaking out, she had the nerve to laugh and said, "That's what happens when you don't move fast enough in life." I just about lost it right there on the sidewalk. Meanwhile, the neighbor, who's always been weirdly nosy, came outside and asked me why I was causing a scene. I was causing a scene. I wasn't even yelling. I was just existing. Looking sad, apparently. Then get this. My mom comes out with her phone, filming me, and says she's recording for her safety because she doesn't trust what I'll do. I have never once been violent, ever. But to see your own mother clutching her phone like you're some criminal about to attack her, that broke something inside me I don't think I'll ever fix. She said to the neighbor loud enough for everyone to hear, "It's not my fault he can't grow up. I raised him better than this." Like she needed an audience. Like kicking your disabled son out with no warning was somehow noble. I left before I could start crying. Threw the last few things I could salvage into my trunk and drove off. Half my stuff is gone. I don't even know who took it. Last night, my cousin Katie texted me saying that my mom was telling the whole family that I chose to leave, that I refused to contribute to the household, and that I was abusive toward her emotionally. Abusive because I existed, because I needed help for a few years. Katie said most of the family wasn't buying it, but a few of my aunts and uncles were posting these vague Facebook rants about ungrateful adult children and parents deserve respect. I haven't said a word publicly yet. I'm too tired, too angry, too humiliated. I don't even know what the next step is. I'm trying to crash with friends until I can figure something out. But it's not like I can just instantly find an apartment, and disability doesn't exactly pay enough to cover first/last/ security deposit. I have a tiny bit of savings, but not enough. And the whole time, her words keep echoing in my head. "You need to hit bottom to grow." Maybe if I hadn't been hit by that car, maybe if I hadn't ended up disabled, maybe then she would have loved me the way I thought she did. But all she sees now is dead weight. I thought hitting the curb and seeing strangers load up my life into their car trunks was the worst part. I was wrong. That was just the opening act. Sunday morning, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. I usually ignore those, but something told me to pick up. It's my Uncle Ray. Now, I hadn't talked to Ray in almost 5 years, not because we hated each other, but because he was always off doing his own thing out west. Turns out my mom had called him. She told him I was mentally unstable and needed an intervention. Ray's tone was pure confusion. He said he just wanted to check in because mom made it sound like I was having breakdowns, threatening people, and refusing to leave the family home. He thought I'd barricaded myself inside like a lunatic. I had to sit there and calmly tell him that no, I wasn't unstable, and no, I didn't refuse to leave. I was thrown out without warning like a stray dog. Ray believed me, thank God. He apologized about 100 times for even doubting me. But he wasn't the only one getting those lies. By noon, I got texts from 2 old family friends, one saying, "Praying for you, hope you find peace soon, Reheart," and the other just straight up saying, "Heard about what happened. You should apologize to your mom." Apologize? I don't even know how she she spun it that fast. Probably had her group chats and Facebook DMs working overtime. It gets worse. That same afternoon, Tyler and I decided to swing by my mom's neighborhood because I needed to grab some mail I hadn't switched over yet. I didn't want to deal with her, so we parked a few houses down and walked. Figured I'd be quick. As we're heading toward the mailbox, I noticed something off. My old car, which I still legally own, is missing from the driveway. Instant panic. I limp run up to the mailbox, empty, and when I turn around, there's a for sale sign in the front yard. A freaking for sale sign. Turns out my mom put her house up for sale the same day she kicked me out. And when I call her, thinking there's some mistake, she just says, calm as anything, I needed a fresh start. You were weighing the house down. Like I'm a bad smell she needed to air out. I ask about my car. She says, oh, I gave it to your cousin Kevin. He needed it more. No warning, no paperwork, no agreement. Just gave my car away. I wanted to scream. I think I actually blacked out for a second. I was so mad. Tyler had to physically pull me back toward the sidewalk because he saw the rage boiling out of me. Monday morning, I called the DMV. Turns out she forged my signature on the title transfer. I don't even know how she pulled that off. Maybe took an old form I filled out when I first bought it. Maybe just guessed. Either way, it's a felony. And now it's my problem. I contacted a lawyer that afternoon, not the family friend type, a real shark Tyler recommended from when his uncle went through a nasty divorce. The guy didn't even blink when I told him the story. He just said, you need to file immediately. We started paperwork for fraud, illegal transfer of property, and theft. Meanwhile, my mom kept texting me these bizarre mixed messages. One second it's, you'll thank me for this someday, and the next second it's, you've betrayed this family beyond repair. As if I did something to her. Then came Monday night. I'm crashing at Tyler's still, trying to apply for rental assistance programs, scrambling to find something, anything temporary when he knocks on the door holding his phone out. You need to see this. It's a post from my mother's Facebook, a GoFundMe page for herself, titled, Help a Mother Recover from Her Son's Abuse, with a photo of her looking sad and battered, which, side note, was a photo from 3 years ago when she sprained her ankle falling off a ladder, nothing to do with me. The description said she had been forced to make the heartbreaking choice to remove her unstable son for her safety, and now she needed support for moving expenses and emotional therapy. Already over $2,000 donated in under 24 hours. I don't know if I laughed, cried, or just stared at the screen like my brain had stopped processing information. Tyler's girlfriend, Cassie, was furious. She started drafting a comment blowing up the whole story, showing receipts, screenshots, everything, but I stopped her. I'm trying to keep everything legal. My lawyer told me, don't engage. Every lie she posts is more evidence in your favor. But seeing my mom paint herself as the victim while I was literally living out of a duffel bag, it made me sick, and it made something in me snap. I'm done. Done trying to explain myself to people who'll never see the truth. Done trying to hope for some magical apology that will never come. This isn't just about a roof over my head anymore. After the GoFundMe fiasco, I figured the worst was already out in the open. I was wrong again. Tuesday morning, I woke up to Tyler shaking my shoulder, whispering, bro, there's people outside. Still half asleep, I grabbed my cane and limped to the window. For cars, all parked haphazard in the street, hazard lights flashing. I recognized almost every one of them. Uncle Mike's old beat-up SUV, Aunt Lisa's minivan, even my cousin Emily's rust bucket sedan. And standing there on the lawn, holding a giant sign that said, family first, come home, Jason, was my mother. Behind her were about 15 relatives, some I hadn't seen in years. They set up folding chairs, brought coffee and donuts like it was a Sunday picnic. My mom even had a portable speaker playing gospel music, full volume. They were staging an intervention on Tyler's front lawn. Tyler was about 2 seconds from calling the cop, but I stopped him. Something in me wanted to see how far they'd go. I opened the door. No shirt, just gym shorts and fury. Mom walked up with that fake cry face she's so good at and said, Jason, we forgive you. Come back home. Let's fix this. Fix what? I said very calmly, I don't live there anymore. Remember? You kicked me out. She sniffled and said, it was tough love, sweetheart. It hurt me more than it hurt you. Before I could even answer, Uncle Mike chimed in, son, you need to be a man. You can't just throw away family when things get hard. I stared at him. This man once got blackout drunk at a 4th of July barbecue and set a tree on fire, but I'm the irresponsible one. I told them I wasn't coming back, that I had legal counsel now, that trying to guilt me wasn't gonna work. That's when Aunt Lisa pulled out the next weapon, a written agreement, handwritten, signed only by my mother, that said I was moving back in, contribute financially, apologize publicly for fabricating lies, and I would cease all legal action immediately. They actually thought I'd sign this, right there, with the whole family staring at me like a firing squad. I laughed out loud hard. Tears ran down my face, not from sadness, from sheer disbelief. And then I asked, where was all this family first energy when I was in the hospital, learning to walk again? Silence. Not a word. They just stood there, some looking at the ground, others pretending they didn't hear me. And my mother, my own mother, had the gall to say, we didn't think you were going to make it, Jason. It hurt too much to watch. So abandoning me was self-care for them? Got it. I told them flat out, if you don't leave this property in the next 5 minutes, I'm calling the police and suing every one of of you for harassment. I pointed right at the lawyer's card Tyler had taped to the door. One by one, they packed up. Gospel music still blaring awkwardly from the speaker someone forgot to turn off. My mother was the last to leave. She walked right up, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "You're not my son anymore." And then, like some villain out of a bad soap opera, she kissed her fingers and touched them to my forehead like some cursed goodbye. It took everything in me not to flinch. When they drove off, tires squealing like some angry caravan, I sat down on the porch and just collapsed, not from physical pain, from the realization that my family never saw me as a son, only as a project, a burden, an accessory to their own self-image. When I wasn't convenient anymore, they discarded me. Wednesday afternoon, Tyler comes back from work and tosses an envelope on the kitchen table. "Bro, you got served," he said, looking way too calm. I open it up, hands trembling a little. A restraining order, filed by my own mother, claiming that I was harassing, threatening, and endangering her. Said she was afraid for her life. Said I had violent tendencies and emotional instability. All complete lies. Attached to the complaint were fake incident reports, emails, and text messages I supposedly sent, threatening her. Only problem? The screenshots had wrong timestamp, wrong email address, wrong writing style. They weren't even good fakes. I called my lawyer immediately, who just sighed and said, "They're escalating because they know you're winning." He filed a motion to dismiss within an hour. By Thursday, things got even uglier. Tyler and I came home from a quick grocery run to find the side of his house spray painted. Big black letters, "Disowned son, liar, thief." They vandalized the guy who's been giving me a couch to sleep on. Tyler called the cops. Security cams caught it all. Guess who it was? My cousin Emily. Same sweet little cousin who used to bake me cookies when I babysat her. Caught on camera, hoodie up, tagging the wall like a bad teen movie villain. She confessed instantly when the cops showed up. Cried about how family loyalty mattered more than truth, and she had to defend her aunt. She got arrested, booked for property damage and trespassing. Tyler, bless him, didn't even flinch. He just looked at me and said, "This is war now." Friday morning, I got the next gut punch. My disability payments frozen. Someone, a concerned family member, had called in a fraud report against me, saying I was faking my injury. Social services opened an urgent investigation. No money, no notice, nothing. When I called to ask what the hell was going on, the lady on the phone said, "Well, your mother provided documentation." Documentation of what? Old videos of me standing without my cane, sitting without grimacing, smiling? Yeah, because disability isn't just when you're sobbing in a wheelchair, it's 24/7 chronic pain, surgeries, therapy, medication. But my mother cherry-picked whatever she could to paint me as a liar. She wasn't just trying to hurt me emotionally anymore. She was trying to burn down my whole life. By Saturday, I was broke, exhausted, and out of options. Tyler sat me down and said, "You need to go nuclear now." I agreed. We got every screenshot, every fake restraining order, the vandalism footage, the forged car paperwork, the fraud reports, all of it. Took it to the courthouse and started filing criminal charges. My lawyer said we had enough to put multiple family members at risk of jail time, and if they tried anything else, it would only help my case. For the first time in months, I actually slept that night. But just when I thought I had the upper hand, Sunday evening, Tyler got a text from an unknown number. Attached was a photo of me at the grocery store, walking alone, leaning hard on my cane. No caption or explanation, just a silent threat. Someone was following me now, watching me, waiting for their next move. After that creepy photo of me at the grocery store, my mind was in full paranoia mode. I stopped going anywhere alone, checked over my shoulder everywhere I went. Tyler even started parking a block away just to make sure we weren't being tailed. But I knew one thing, something big was about to happen. Monday night, it did. Tyler was working late, and I was alone at the house, half passed out on the couch, when the doorbell rang. Hard, fast, urgent. I grabbed my cane and hobbled to the peephole. Standing there were my parents, both of them, dressed like they were going to church. Mom in her nicest blouse, Dad in a suit he hadn't worn since my high school graduation. And behind them, two cops, flanking them like bodyguards. My heart stopped. I opened the door just a crack, chains still locked. One of the cops, a young guy, said, "Sir, can we come in? There's been a report of a disturbance." I asked, "What disturbance?" "I'm literally watching TV." He said someone reported screaming, crashing noises, and a potential domestic violence situation. I just stared. It was a setup. My parents, the people who raised me, had called the police, claiming I was violent, hoping the cop would barge in, arrest me, and destroy what little life I had left. I could see it all play out in my head. Headlines about the unstable disabled man taken in, all based on a lie. I told the cops calmly, "There's security camera. Feel free to check them." The cops paused. My mom started fake crying again, wailing about how she was just so scared for me, and she didn't know what else to do. One of the officers stepped aside to make a call. 5 minutes later, Tyler comes peeling into the driveway. He jumps out, waving his phone. The security footage, live feed, showing me asleep on the couch for the last 2 hours. No screaming, no fighting, no movement, just me, alone, silent. The cops reviewed it and immediately shifted gears. Mom tried to salvage salvage it. Said maybe they misheard. Maybe it was a neighbor's TV, but it was too late. The officers apologized to me and told my parents to leave. Mom wouldn't go. She screamed right there in the driveway, loud enough for the whole block to hear. You're throwing your family away over nothing. You'll die alone and miserable. You'll come crawling back, you ungrateful little cripple. That last word cut through me like a blade. The cop grabbed her arm and said, "Ma'am, that's enough." Tyler had to hold me back because the rage that boiled up in me in that moment was like nothing I've ever felt before. She didn't just call me weak. She didn't just call me broken. She wanted me to believe it. They finally dragged her off the property. Dad didn't say a word the whole time, just stared at the ground like some coward. But it wasn't over yet. An hour later, after everything calmed down, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. New message. It was a video. Send anonymously. I opened it and almost dropped my phone. It was footage from inside Tyler's house. Footage of me sleeping. From the living room window. Zoomed in. Someone had been watching me for days. Recording. Stalking. Waiting. And when I zoomed in on the reflection in the glass, I recognized the face. It wasn't my mom. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't my cousin. It was Danielle. My sister. The one person I thought I could trust. Danielle. The one who pretended to be on my side the whole time. Feeding information. Pretending to help. All while spying on me for my parents. My blood ran cold. The betrayal hit harder than anything else that happened before. The only family member who acted like she cared was the mole. She knew where I was. I wasn't paranoid. They really were trying to destroy me. And the saddest part? They didn't even think they were doing anything wrong. To them, I was just a burden that needed to be broken or erased. After the stalker video revealed Danielle, something in me shifted permanently. Not anger, not sadness, something colder, sharper, a final clarity. I spent that night gathering every scrap of evidence we had. Security footage, forged documents, the stolen car transfer, screenshots of the fake GoFundMe, the stalking video, it all went into a thick file. At sunrise, I sat with Tyler and we planned the endgame. First move, court. We drove downtown and handed everything to my lawyer. Within hours, he filed formal charges against my mother, my father, Danielle, and my cousin Emily. Charges included harassment, fraud, stalking, conspiracy to defraud, property destruction, and identity theft. This wasn't a bluff. These were felonies. Real crimes that would stain their records forever if they didn't back down. Second move, confrontation. My lawyer arranged a mandatory mediation meeting at a neutral location. If they failed to show, the charges would proceed without negotiation. They showed up looking smug and overconfident. Mom wore her Sunday best, Dad kept his arms folded, Danielle refused to make eye contact. I stayed calm while my lawyer laid everything on the table. Footage of vandalism, proof of the forged restraining order, evidence of the stolen car, and undeniable clips of Danielle stalking me. As the documents stacked up, their smiles disappeared. Mom tried to play the victim immediately, sobbing about her broken heart and how family bonds had been ripped apart. She said she acted out of motherly love, trying to protect me from myself. Her words rang hollow in the sterile conference room. Danielle burst into tears, begging me to forgive her because she didn't know how else to help. I said nothing. There was nothing left to say. The weight of truth suffocated them right there at the table. Then came the offer. Immediate retraction of all public lies. Full refund of every dollar raised through the fraudulent GoFundMe. Signed no contact agreement for at least 10 years. Immediate return of my car with clean title paperwork. A written public apology posted across every social media account they used to defame me. Payment for damages or we would push for full criminal prosecution. They had 24 hours to accept or face jail time, lawsuits, financial ruin, and total public exposure. Mom slammed her hand on the table so hard the pens jumped. She screamed that I was tearing the family apart for a few misunderstandings. Dad stayed silent, staring at the floor like a coward trapped in quicksand. Danielle just cried harder, whispering she was just trying to make everyone proud. I stood up, faced them squarely, and told them the truth they had tried so hard to destroy. I was never the broken one here. You were, and now you have to live with it. The next day, every single one of them caved. Mom posted a public apology, shaky and hollow, blaming miscommunication and bad advice. The GoFundMe was shut down, the money refunded. My car was returned, title cleared, and reissued in my name. The no-contact agreement was signed by everyone involved. Danielle sent one last message before I blocked her for good. It simply said, "I hope someday you find peace." I almost laughed. I had found peace the moment I realized I didn't need any of them to survive.